Hey, gang. So things are starting to, trickle in, a little move here, move there. Nothing major happened today, but I'm sure more stuff is going to be coming. So you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that stuff. I'll have every piece of news for you, especially the big ones. Okay, whether it's Yankees or not. But there's two guys I want to focus on today for a couple of reasons: Justin Verlander and Carlos Correa. Now, I'm not endorsing that the Yankees sign one of them or both of them, but if they do, there are probably several reasons that they're going to do that. I want to give you a couple of them. They're obviously going to cost a lot of money. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure Verlander is going to cost probably $70 million or maybe even more over 2 years. And if the Yankees aren't prepared to give him more than a 1 year offer, don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time. You're going to have to give him at least a year, not 1 year and an option. Give him the guaranteed 2 years. He's going to win the Cy Young most likely. I'd be shocked if he didn't. And if you don't do that, what the hell's the point, right? Carlos Correa, also, he's in a position to get himself probably an 8 or 10 year deal at a pretty high salary, probably $280 million, maybe even $300 million at some point. Elite production, elite defense in the shortstop position, and he's playoff tested, playoff money. Just as Verlander now, he's also becoming a hell of a lot more reliable in the postseason too. So, but there's one thing that neither one of these guys has. Neither one of them is attached to a qualifying offer. Okay, why? Because they both received them and they both rejected them. So, any time a player receives a QO, they're not eligible to receive it a second time. Okay, that's one of the big major league rules. So, and it's one reason the QO is still here is because the Yankees couldn't come up with an international draft solution. So, it was originally going to be gone, but since that happened, they brought the QO back. And as we know, the Yankees specifically would have to forfeit a second-round pick and the fifth-round pick and the $1 million in international prospect signing money for every player that they sign attached to a qualifying offer. There are 14 guys this year. Obviously, none of them are all fits for the Yankees, but just with the exception of Carlos Rodon and Jacob deGrom, who both are attached to qualifying offers, and it's no surprise, there's really nobody else at that level who has elite production like Justin Verlander. I mean, look at the pitchers attached. I mean, Chris Bassett and Martin Perez, they got qualifying offers. I mean, that could hurt them too. Remember a couple of years ago, some players were attached to QOs and nobody wanted to sign them because of the cost associated with it, because they weren't that great, and they wound up having to wait until months into the next season to get signed because of that stuff. So that could backfire too. Now, I'm not saying it will, but it could. Okay, and I mean, like Taijuan Walker did not receive a QO. The Yankees going to consider him. I don't know. I mean, Rodon's probably less of a risk than Jacob deGrom, obviously, because of the health issues. And deGrom is almost like a ticking time bomb. But when he's healthy, he's probably the greatest pitcher in the universe. Rodon's been better now, and with elite production. So he's the guy, but he's going to come with probably a 5-year, $140 million price tag. So that's something that the Yankees are going to, any team is going to have to really, really think hard about. So, Justin Verlander, and at this point, he might require a 2-year deal, and I don't see the point. And again, offering him anything less than that, anything more than that, I would be, I might walk. But I try to trade for a pitcher or something like that. But this is an opportunity to put a co-ace with Cole, and Cole was always better in Houston when Verlander was there pushing him. So, and again, we could use somebody like that here, especially in a postseason series, pitching against Houston rather than against the Yankees. That could be a good thing. And keep in mind too, Rafael Montero, their setup man, they're over in Houston, also is a free agent. That's not coming to QO either. So the Yankees can essentially get both of them. Okay, and we bring back Benintendi or Judge, whatever they decide to do, and Carlos Correa, and none of these guys will be attached to any additional compensation. And keep in mind, I mentioned that because the Yankees are also in a position to sign international prospect Brandon Maye. This is a kid I've talked about for a year. And we talked about him quite a few times. Okay, and then last year we were already profiling him and everything as the number one free agent. The Yankees were kind of the insides to be the favorites to sign him. And that was before the new CBA. After the new CBA, nothing's changed. So he's going to cost almost the whole entire part of that international signing pool. And any pitcher, or any player, I should say, that the Yankees sign attached to a qualifying offer, the Yankees are going to have to pay that much. It's tiered penalty. So whoever your team is, take a look at my video that I put earlier today about the exact penalties associated with a qualifying offer. You'll know exactly how much your team would have to pay when they sign somebody attached to a QO. There's 3 tiers, and the Yankees are at the highest penalty tier. as are the Mets, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Phillies, and I think of one more team, the Red Sox maybe. So that'll give you some insight, and it might give you some insight as to how their free agency, how their mathematical calculus is going to shape up this offseason. And as much as folks like to say, well, it's not our money, well, I know that's not our money, but it's a business, and they're considering this as part of their negotiation, as part of their, building of a franchise and a team and so on and so forth. So, and I get that too. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that's the way it is. That's the way baseball's a business, and the Yankees are a cold-blooded business. So, nothing we can do about that. But again, the Yankees can essentially get a lot better. And again, could you imagine bringing in, just to say Verlander, and you re-sign Benintendi, and you bring in Rafael Montero for the bullpen, and you either re-sign Judge, and if you don't, you bring in Masataka Yoshida, whatever. You got 2 outfielders now, and then you got a new starter and a reliever. Okay, that's a decent start, and you got a couple young kids up and ready to play. Like you're in a decent start there, and then you figure out what to do at first. If Rizzo doesn't come back, because I do see him being able to probably secure a 3-year deal for probably 18-20 million per. I could see that happening for Rizzo, and if he does, and it's not the Yankees, I could see him walking, and the Yankees moving to DJ over to first base, which opens up second base for them to bring up a kid like Anthony Volpe when he's ready, or play Oswaldo Cabrera there until Volpe's ready, and Oswaldo Cabrera can be the infield-outfield kid, the multiple position guy, the Adam Frazier for the team, or whatever. So, or the Ben Zobrist for the team. So there's a lot of different ways to think about it, but to me, I after breaking down, which have this and this and this and this, and then you have players at elite production who are not attached to a QO, that list is very relatively small. Jose Abreu is not attached. He already had one. So, so he's not eligible for another QO either. So he's a guy that they could bring for first base too. But those 2 guys seem to be the most notable because they addressed obvious needs for the Yankees. And again, they can move him to third, and then you can have IKF be the utility guy and whatnot. The prospect of him being non-tendered is slim to none. I see them trading Torres before IKF gets non-tendered, particularly because they released Tim LeCastro a couple days ago, and with the exception of him, IKF is probably the best base runner on the team now. Only guy, and he puts the ball in play, whether it's a hit or not. Okay, moves guys over. He steals a lot of bases, and that's what we had LeCastro, and we have nobody to replace him right now. So he still has value here. He's an arbitration player. He's got 1 more year. Do I think he'll be back after 23? Probably not. But he has value here in 2023, even if it's a multiple position guy, or not defensive or whatever, or just a replacement, a base running replacement, whatever it is, for the latter part of the games. So, but again, just watch out for these 2 guys. Would I be surprised if either one of them are both signed? I would not. Absolutely not. I could see Garrett Cole calling Justin Verlander and saying, "Hey man, come on over here and play with me, man." Like, you can just see it. Now, I can see a little bit more hesitation with Correa. There's a bit of a hatred. If he comes here and shuts his mouth and performs, the fans will endear themselves to him. I'm pretty confident of that. But give me your insight into this stuff, okay? And I want to know what your thought process is here. I'll keep it coming, guys and gals. Have a great night. Talk to you later.